Good evening and welcome to the Wednesday, June 4th, 2014 meeting of the Falmouth Conservation Commission. First item on the agenda are minutes. Minutes of May 14th.
I've not seen those minutes, Madam Chair.
They were sent to us by email.
My mistake, but
I'll have her
Yeah.
send them to you, Mike.
there you go.
May 21st?
Madam, I've read the minutes and found them substantially correct.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second for minutes of May 21st. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, unanimous, so moved. May 28th.
Madam Chair, I've read the minutes for the 28th and find them substantially correct.
Well, I found one error.
Is that the 1800 reference, by any chance?
No, it's the 2-inch wide reference for the pipe at New Silver Beach. It's a 25-inch pipe. What was the 1800?
It's on the first page.
Oh.
It
Michael?
was my sarcastic.
No, he did say 1800. That's all right, that can stay in there.
You're not kidding. Okay, I stand
That's what I
corrected.
said. It might be sarcastic, but that's what I said.
It sounded a little ancient to me, but
Yeah, no, that's Mike.
it was, he meant to say that.
He did, he meant to say it, and he did say that. Okay, could I have a motion?
Motion
With
to
that
accept the
change?
minutes as discussed with the alterations?
Could I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, so moved. Okay, request for continuance of a determination of applicability. David and Leona Gibbs, 75 T-Ticket Path, East Falmouth, for permission to remove invasive plants and install native shrubs. Jen?
Yes, Madam Chairman, the applicant is requesting continuance until June 25th.
So moved.
June 25th? Second.
Correct.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions from the board? Any questions from the audience? Okay, motion on the table is for continuance to June 25th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, unanimous, so moved. Request for continuance of hearings under a notice of intent. David and Martha Casillas et al., 0 Ferry Road, map 2320 010 179 McCoy, for permission to construct and maintain timber stairs, a 4.5-foot by 82-foot fixed timber pier, 3-foot by 14-foot ramp, 4-foot by 10-foot, and 5-foot by 12-foot float, 4 by 4-inch posts, 2 6 by 6-inch posts, and 13 12-inch diameter pilings for shared community access and associated excavating and grading. Jen?
Yes, Madam Chairman, the applicant is requesting continuance until July 16th.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions on the board?
Yes.
Coordinate.
How many continuances? Two, right?
Two.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the second.
And the reason why?
I was told they're still attempting to work with the abutters.
Okay.
Are there any questions from the audience? Okay, there's a motion and a second on the table for continuance to July 16th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, so moved. Request for determination of applicability. David and Leona Gibbs, 75 T-Ticket Path, East Falmouth, is continued to June 25th. Kevin and Celeste Mahoney, 10 Hawthorne Avenue, Falmouth, for permission to raise, R-A-Z-E, the existing dwelling and construct a new single-family house with porches, stair, bluestone patio, install a new Title V sewage disposal system, driveway, water service, utilities, and the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping. Jen?
Yes, Madam Chairman, the staff has reviewed the project and we are recommending a -4 and the state a -6 under the bylaw with the resource area not confirmed.
So moved. Second.
No,
You're not going to ask?
I am going to ask. I can't let that one go.
Outside your jurisdiction. It's outside your jurisdiction now, but once the flood zone maps change,
It will be.
it will be, but we've determined at this point that -4 and -6 is determining it's outside of your jurisdiction.
Very fun.
okay, did everyone get that? It's outside the jurisdiction, so they can go ahead with what it is they want to do. Are there any questions from the audience? I see some puzzled looks still. Okay, all in favor of the motion on the table, which is to accept staff's recommendation of a negative determination, which means these people can go ahead and do with what they're proposing to do, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, so moved. Request for hearings under a notice of intent. All hearings of the Falmouth Conservation Commission are heard simultaneously under the authority of the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act and the Falmouth Wetlands Bylaw. Although a single decision is issued, it represents a separate decision under each authority. Okay, good evening, Matt. Stephen and Ann Sherman, 28 Nichols Road, Wacoit, for permission to remove the existing unpermitted landscape wall, fire pit, and gazebo by former owner and return to lawn, and to construct a garage addition, second-story deck, install a patio, timber retaining wall, concrete apron and driveway realignment, a wood fence along the easement line, remove portions of the existing deck and dwelling, and the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping. Matt, you can just go ahead because Jen doesn't have any questions at this moment.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chairman, for the record, Matt Costa, Cape and Islands Engineering, representing the applicant. Property is located at 28 Nichols Road, fronts on Sea Pit River, which is a river by name only. If you look up in the locust map, you see it's really a section of Wacoit Bay area, so there's no riparian zones that apply here. The resource areas that we have on the site are salt marsh, the BVW, and coastal bank land subject to coastal storm flowage. All the work that's being proposed is in previously legally altered resource buffer area to the resources, buffer zone to the resource areas. So what the little background on this property is that it recently changed hands. A new person bought it. Previous owner had done a few things without a permit. Mark and Jen were both on the scene and were dealing with the previous property owner and getting it corrected. There actually wasn't an enforcement order filed at the time because he did say he was going to get it corrected. But then he sold it, and now this new property owner is actually including these corrections in his proposed plan. Now, what the issues were an existing gazebo that's shown on the plan now and a fire pit. Those two items were put in without a permit. So as part of our proposal, we're going to remove those items and have it returned to the previous lawn area. So there's a couple of alterations to the house that they're doing. This is kind of a unique case because it almost never happens this way. We're actually going to end up with a smaller footprint when we're done. There's actually a lot coverage reduction of about 60 square feet. So they're changing some lines on the house, removing a portion of a deck, removing a portion of an entry, including a little bump out along the garage area. You see where there's a septic tank, there's a little addition proposed there. Some second-story deck work. A bunch of little additions around the house that they're doing. Ultimately, they're changing the roof line and doing some significant interior work. But as far as alterations on the ground go, there's very few. We're talking about under 100 square feet, really. So one of the things also that's being removed is the existing shed, which is located in the west portion of the house where the proposed second-story deck is. And in that area, we're actually going to regrade that area and propose some retaining walls around the existing foundation. And we're doing that to relocate the flood zone line so it doesn't hit the house. So we're removing that shed and we're going to regrade that area there. In addition to the landscaping that he's proposing to do is an extension of the existing patio. We have located all the resource areas and marked them on the site. Like I said before, all this work's occurring in previously disturbed buffer zone area. And it's actually basically in lawn area. One other feature that they're doing, that they're proposing is to add a fence along the west side of the property. There's a lot going on in the plan, but if you look closely, you see a dashed line that runs along the western property line. That's actually an easement, a right-of-way easement for pedestrian traffic down to the water. People do use it, so he wants to locate a fence on his side of the easement, just as a barrier, because there isn't one there now, as a barrier to keep people within the easement where they're supposed to be, because it kind of meanders a little bit now. I did review the project with Jen, and I do have a specification for a wood fence with the understanding that it's going to be a type of split rail, something that wildlife could pass underneath. So with that, I think that pretty much covers it, and I would be happy to answer any questions.
Thanks, Matt. Jen? Court?
This is a question for you or for Jen. There wasn't an existing enforcement order on the property?
No, there was not an
There was
enforcement
not?
order.
Okay.
We're very close to one, but there wasn't.
The guy
And then it
slipped
switched
away and
hands.
sold it before that
And
all?
as soon as he bought it, he understood what the problems were, because my office was in contact with the previous owner and the new owner before he bought it. So we understood what he was buying, and right off the bat said, "It's fine, I want to correct it."
Fair enough. No questions.
Over where the shed is to the west, that's got a boatload of concrete underneath there. Boatload. How are you gonna get that out of there?
Well, I imagine they'll probably crawl a little machine back over there, some sort of bobcat maybe, and take it out, maybe even by...
Which- Do you have a path, an egress? Because also in continuing that, you got the fire pit in that area is probably gonna be a little bit of machine work as well, I would imagine, because there's some kind of footing or something inside that pit area. So just,
Up where the existing shell driveway is, they could creep a little track machine over that stone wall that's there down to get to where the shed is, and he could come back up around
Okay.
on the east side of the property to get to the fire pit and start.
okay. When he's creeping over the little wall, and he's starting to take his turn, and you're all done ripping the concrete out of there, and you're creeping back towards that shell driveway, I strongly suggest that you put a dry well in there, because you have now a downspout that goes to daylight, and actually is dumping on the path.
Sure, sure.
So I think that's, because you're gonna be disturbing that area, it'd be a great
Right over here.
opportunity, right from this corner of the building, where they're gonna be, the roof lines and things are gonna change, so that downspout may adjust in a certain area. So when they're, at some point in time, if they put a downspout in that area, just have it contained into a dry well.
Sure.
And that's about it, thank you.
Do you have a limit of work?
Yeah, so the limit of work, it's a little tough to see what, it's actually called out on a note on the east side of the plan, under where it says Lot 7A. The limit of work's gonna be a stake siltation fence that runs, that's located along the landward side of the existing wood fence. So they have a wood
Oh,
fence
okay.
right now that runs
Right,
right
right.
off that
I know where the
bulkhead.
wood fence
Just
is.
gonna put it right on the
Okay.
inside of that.
Okay, I
It's
just
too many
wondering.
lines, the lines are too close together for you
Yeah,
to really see.
yeah. Well, this, even though, like you said, there's not that much, there's a lot on this that you had to put on this. And when you got out there, it was really, when I looked at it before I went out, I had no idea what was going on. When I went out, it all became very clear. So I thought you did a good job, but until you actually saw it in space, it was difficult. With the grading around the corner of the house, is there going to be any fill brought in for that?
Yeah, there'll be a minimal amount of fill that would be needed, probably some, I looked at it closely, we're raising the grade about a foot or so. So, and we're gonna have a little bit of a hole, I estimate, after we take out that
Well, that's what-
concrete
yeah.
there. So there's probably gonna be some fill that's brought in, a de minimis amount, really.
Okay, those were my questions.
No
Russ?
questions.
No, Mike?
No question. Normally, I'm a little leery of fences, but in this case, it would be protecting the resource area with a fence, and that's a good thing.
Somebody's falling off.
Yeah, and there's a
Yeah,
fence
well,
along the
Yeah, no,
bank.
well, I'm glad that fence is there. That's a heck of a wall.
I think we have enough information.
Motion to close and take it under advisement.
Second.
Yeah, I think, we might require you to give us a new plan with where the dry well is, and a dry well.
A new
Detail.
plan for a dry well, oh, come on. We can put a little condition
How
in
many,
there.
how many,
I don't know where the dry
how
well's
many
gonna go
engineers here have had to provide dry well detail? Matt, you're on a good roll, just keep going.
At some point, when they determine the roof line,
I gotta figure out where it goes. Well, I'll guess for you, how about that? No problem.
No, I'm not saying you have to put it in immediately, but before any work begins,
Okay.
you should know where it's gonna go.
And since you gotta do a plan, add the flagpole.
Mike,
I wasn't gonna
Tom,
say anything, but
Mike,
it's gonna be there, add the flagpole.
David, Barbara, they'd all be upset if we let you go without that information in the record. Are there any questions from the audience?
Actually.
I don't think he has to make 12 copies, though.
He doesn't have to, no, it's for the record.
Okay, just one
We
for the
can make a
record.
decision, but you want to have the right one
two for
in the
the
record.
record.
Okay.
I'll have you one tomorrow.
Two,
With
please.
flagpole?
Put
New
that-
plan with dry well and flagpole, and don't guesstimate where it's gonna go.
Okay, there's a motion and a second on the table to close this hearing and take it under advisement. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Unanimous, so moved. Don't press your luck, Matt.
Love you guys. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
You can stay, Matt.
John and Patricia Ramey, 80D Little Island Road, West Falmouth, for permission to construct a detached garage with elevated bedroom and deck, install a crushed stone driveway, remove trees, and install native mitigation planting, and the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping. Jen?
Yes, I said during my comments until presentation.
Tom brought us out to a lovely site again.
Thank you. For the record, my name is Tom Bunker with BSS Design. You have been to this site before. This was the last time, brief history on the narrative. They elevated the house to get above the flood zone, added a small addition in the front and a porch. Now, they'd like to add a garage, a one-car garage to the property. It's basically the only place it can fit. I mean, it's 25 feet back from the street line, and there is an A zone from the salt marsh in there too, so it's squeezed in between the two. The entire property is within, there's a flood zone line up in there, the garage, and most of the property is within flood zone elevation of 13. The garage floor will be just below that elevation. I can show you a section of, this is a section looking from the water. There's a one-car garage that's on the west side of the property, and on the east side of the building, it's an elevated structure. There is what would be considered a bedroom in it and a bathroom. The septic system was built large enough for the number of bedrooms in the house and this one bedroom. There will be a pipe going from this into the septic tank, and it can all hook up properly. So this is this one room is built above the flood elevation in this location. As far as the location, it is outside of the A zone, but if you notice, it is close. A being the do not disturb zone, and we are proposing to have the limit of work extend into that A zone, but in an area that's already been disturbed. The old septic system, actually, it was supposed to have been, I think, removed when they put in the septic upgrade, but the old septic system is in that location, the leaching pit and the distribution box. There is one non-native spruce tree in the location. We do propose to use that just during construction, and we have 172 square feet of infringement into that work zone, and that will be, that in that A zone will be revegetated with the native vegetation in that area. There'll still be 3 or 4 feet from the garage to that A zone. Part of the garage is in the B zone to the coastal bank, which is a 2-to-1 mitigation area. So we do have 164 square feet of mitigation for the work within the B zone. And look briefly at my notes. Yeah, we're doing the revegetating here, but also taking, I think, that 172 square feet, we're ending up with 340 square feet of shrub planting down here, which will be just landward of shrub planting that was approved for the porch. There's a 241 square feet of new planting here that were approved for the porch, and then 340 square feet. So you can see I'm moving it backward toward this area, sort of a peninsula of a little better vegetated area. None of this is great habitat, but there's a oak tree that would have to be removed in this location. That's it's just outside of the B zone from the coastal bank. We'll be planting 4 oak trees along with the mitigation shrubs down in this area. You've seen there, none of this is very great habitat. So I'd say that in spite of a temporary incursion into this A zone, it's being improved overall with the all of the mitigation planting that's being proposed. And frankly, this planting that we have up here, I'm just thinking would actually be serve better purpose if we're down closer to the wetland, which we'd be willing to do also. But I think basically with this and with the mitigation planting, there'll be improvement to the environmental qualities of the area, and no detriment will come out of the construction of the garage. So I'll take your questions.
Thank you. Jen? Mike?
I guess it's the east side of the proposed garage. There's a 36-inch oak.
Yes.
As I stand at the corner of the stake and look up, if you're underneath the limb, are we going to lose that?
Yes, that's that oak there is the one coming out, putting in 4 new trees down here.
Yeah. You did such a great job preserving the character around the house that's been redone, you know. I saw
Those are outside the B zone. B zone is right here. They're in the flood zone, but they're outside the B zone.
Do you have to stay 13 feet away from that reserve area?
No, I could shift it over.
I mean, could you shift
I
it
mean,
with that?
I had it there because of the utility pole up at the road, but I could put a kink in the driveway to shift it over, and then
such a pretty tree.
the
I mean,
tree.
we'd only gain 3 feet. Is that really going to save that tree though? I mean, with the root system still being impacted when they dug.
Well, this area here is on
It's on
piers.
pilings.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
It's on
Piers
pilings.
piling, so it's not a continuous foundation. So, gaining 3, you only have to be 10 feet from the septic system where the garage slab. So, gaining that 3 feet right now seem to be about 8 feet. It'd be more than 10 feet from that garage, and I mean from that tree. So, it might be that 1 or 2 of the limbs of the garage, but I think, yeah, we could.
Could get to a prominent.
Could then do a better.
When you
better-
walk in the driveway up there.
Yeah.
Can you look into shifting that for them, Tom?
Mhm.
Thank you.
Mario?
Tom, I have to ask you a question. You're gonna take down a 3-foot diameter oak for a dry well? That's what it looks like to me.
Well,
So he's
I
gonna
would-
shift it, he's gonna shift it to try to save the oak.
Now I'm not, but no, that was,
No.
He's gonna put the dry well somewhere
I'll
else.
put the dry well somewhere else,
Yeah,
yes.
because the tree's probably 150 years old. For a dry well,
No, I had that because there was proximity to the garage, but,
do the best you can,
yes,
that's all.
No questions.
Court.
tree space.
How, the elevated section is the, how much are you raising it? 4 feet?
It is I think it is about, I don't have, I do have the full set of plans.
8, 10, 11 and a half, about 3.5 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's on piers? And so, basically, the capacity of the garage is 1 car?
It's one
Right,
car.
coming straight.
Okay. No other questions?
Is the, in here it says crush and fill the leach pit and such. That isn't done right now, right? That's as it sits right now, that's existing, it has not been.
That's correct.
So when you do that, depending on the size of that pit, the operator should really be, your limit of work could be on top of it. Do you know if it's a concrete structure, or if it's a block structure, or?
I'm frankly not even sure. I've assumed that it was a precast pit. I mean, it could be a beehive type.
Yeah,
I mean, I think that
my
it
only
would-
concern is just to make sure that your limit of work is not underneath it.
Right, I think they just have to, if they open it up, make a hole in the top of it and fill it with sand. I mean, they just have to crush the opening, not the whole thing all the way down, just
Okay,
make an
well,
opening
if
and fill it.
if it's a precast, that's normal, but if it's a beehive and then all of a sudden it collapses, it could be far more than what you think. So I didn't lift the lid today, but I just, if that's what it is, I'm just putting that out there to be,
You don't
Right,
want
we'll
that truck.
be aware of that.
yep. Because you're gonna be active digging for the foundation in there as
right?
well. So I have no issue with it, just want to be as clear as possible of what activities that I expect to see out there. I mean,
I think if they're working, they're working from the upland side, and even if it's a beehive, they can pull the upland side away.
and I'm gonna repeat myself, I just want to be clear that that's what I expect to be done. I'm gonna have to, for a while, I'm gonna be on that drum, that it's clear that the engineer is at the hearing, and this is what is being discussed and would be relayed to the contractor. That's the conduit that I really want to impress on people as of
And will
late.
not violate the limit of work.
Well, just, do what you say you're gonna do.
Yeah.
So, and outside of that, no questions.
Jen?
Motion to close and take it under advisement.
Second.
You want a plan,
But we can do other.
condition it to move it 3 feet over?
Plan. And we thought to just shift that over. I mean, that can be enough, Mario.
All right.
Yeah, they just want to save the tree.
The shifting that garage 3 feet will be enough to save that tree.
It's,
And getting rid of that
it's
garage.
pretty immense, and I can tell you the
Yeah.
root system is pretty
Right,
deep.
but
he's only put
It's
pilings
up on
on.
Yeah,
pilings on that side.
So it should be okay.
It's not like he's gonna be ripping a 4-foot.
We don't have many 3-foot diameter trees in this
No,
town, you know,
beautiful.
so.
Okay, there's a motion to close. Do I have a second?
We did have a second.
I did have a second.
I seconded it.
All right. Are there any questions from the audience? Okay, there's a motion and a second to close the hearing and take it under advisement. Tom's going to provide Jen with a couple of new plans so the contractor can have a new plan too.
Absolutely.
All in favor of the motion on the table, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, so moved.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Mike, you must be next. Richard Cohn, 72 Rivers End Road, Wacoit, for permission to construct an attached garage, sunroom, porch, remove trees, install native mitigation plantings, and the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping. Jen? Here you go.
No questions. Right.
Thank you.
Do you have enough, or should we share? Okay.
Russ, can you make sure one gets into that file for me, please? Thank
It's
you.
in there now.
My name is Michael McGrath. I'm a registered engineer and registered professional land surveyor. I work for Holmes and McGrath. The particular site belongs to Richard Cohen. It's 72 Rivers End Road. It's at the end of Rivers End Road. He has a single-family house, and what his proposal is to construct a new garage and an addition. The wetland resources on or adjacent to the lot are Great Pond is titled, so it's called land under the ocean. We always label land under the ocean as land containing shellfish. Then we have mean high water, we have a salt marsh, and we have a coastal bank that's shown on the plan. There's also a existing flood zone. We've added to the plan a resident, a Falmouth wet resource area buffer A, which is measured from the salt marsh, and then we have a little band of B that is landward of the resource area A, and the B is off of the coastal bank. So the proposal is that we're going to create a total of 300 square foot of new impervious area between the two additions. We're going to remove some pavement today that's in this area, a little bit over there, and so we're going to have a net square feet of 325 square feet. And so we have to show you 975 square foot. The dark green is the area that he has agreed to install the native plants that are shown on the plan. It's a combination of the 3 different species, inkberry, bayberry, and arrowwood by Burnham. So I believe that this is a project that conforms to your regulations, and I'm here to answer any questions.
Thanks, Mike. Jen?
No, just a little concerned with plantings underneath the trees, but.
Mike?
I take it the existing garage is turning into living space.
Yes.
Does it change the number of bedrooms?
It's being, the inside is being arranged so there's no increase in flow.
So we're not changing the nitrate loading to the, again,
No.
we're, no other questions?
Mario?
No questions.
Russ?
Just a comment, Mike, thanks for marking the driveway with the spray paint. That really helped. The dots on the driveway helped me a lot. Thank you.
Court?
No questions.
Tom?
There's an AC pad where the proposed sunroom's gonna go. Are they gonna just shift that out anywhere?
Yes.
Okay. There's a lot of leaves on the bank. It seems like it's a habit that they're getting into. I just would inform the applicant that to promote the health of the bank would be better to not put leaf material, leaf debris on the banks. And then, just as I was walking around the corner, past those well-marked pieces in the driveway, there's a stump, a fresh-cut stump in a pile. And I thought I was going to catch a cheater, but I couldn't find a stump on site. So it must be some wood that they brought in from somewhere and cut. There was a pile of stuff. I was hoping I could maybe do something, but nevertheless, their yard looked fine. So, the only thing is the bank, the leaves on the bank, it really is clustered in one portion of that, and it just smothers everything that's trying to grow up. That's it.
Okay.
Motion to close and take it under advisement.
I'll second.
Any questions from the audience? Okay, all in favor of the motion on the table, which is to close the hearing and take it under advisement, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, so moved. Thanks, Mike. Who's next?
Pinecrest.
Gerald and Roberta Jenkins, 322 Pinecrest Beach Drive, East Falmouth, for permission to replace and maintain an existing timber retaining wall and steps with keystone wall, repair the driveway berm, and the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping. Good evening again, Mike. Jen, any questions?
My name's Mike McGrath. I work for Homes McGrath. We've prepared the plan. Accompanying me tonight is John from Tavares, who will actually describe the construction technique. In the back of this house is a timber retaining wall, and it is failing, and it needs to be replaced. The wetland resources that are on the site is that Jenkins Pond is a great pond. There's a little tiny beach, and we have resource area A, resource area buffer B, both measured from the inland banks. There's also a small, tiny freshwater wetland and nearest the northeasterly corner of the lot. And so the problem with the site is, for those that haven't seen it, is that the wall is coming apart. I only have one copy, but that shows you what the wall looks like. I think it's appropriate that John come up and describe the construction technique. Not only are we doing this, but we're going to berm a catch basin because there's signs of erosion here.
Good evening. After visiting the site and taking a look at the...
John, you just need to identify yourself for the record.
Okay, I'm sorry. My name's Jonathan Searles. I'm here representing Francisco Tavares.
Thank you.
After visiting the site and taking a look at the wall, we talked a few different strategies of way of reconstructing the wall without disturbing too much at once. So what we would like to do would be to come in, install the erosion control. The catch basin on the side would then be built up, try and contain any water that would run off, and once the ground's been disturbed, try and keep it back so we can control the water flow. All the downspouts are going to dry wells in the backyard, so there is no roof water runoff. And we would start at this furthest end here, working our way back across, excavate, and then reconstruct as we go. We would not take the whole wall down at once. We wouldn't want the whole area to be exposed at the same time. So we would start on the far side and work our way back around. Are there any questions?
Jen, any questions?
No, John, but you're gonna bring the grade of the backyard to the top, the highest point of that wall?
It's not actually to the top of the wall. It's about, I think it was one course lower, but we are going to be taking some of the, I guess, the curse off that hill there. It's just really steep right now, so we're trying to slow the water down so it's not acting so much like a ramp at the end. We can kind of slow it down in the bottom, almost like in a swale. There is drainage on the back of the wall going through crushed stone, which actually is on the detail page. You'll see it comes out in the front to also help relieve some of the pressure so it won't be built up behind the wall. It's a crushed stone footing.
But that fill is
Pervious
only going to be set A south?
Correct, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Okay. Courtney?
No questions.
Tom?
So, it's my understanding, like I said earlier, I'm gonna be beating the drum. Just the engineer's proposing this as what we're talking about, and so that, your methodology as described is going from the north to the south, reasonable chunks, so that you're controlling your erosion. Your catch basin's gonna be going in first.
Correct. Well,
And-
yeah, silt fence, catch basin,
Yes.
correct.
Yeah, the erosion.
Yeah, erosion
The site management.
control.
Yep. And at the bottom of that, you're gonna have everything wrapped, your footing pad, your leveling pad, that's gonna be wrapped in the filter fabric as well.
Yeah, there's actually, as it's excavated behind it, yeah, it's filter cloth all the way up.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that.
And there's geogrid.
I'm more than happy to see this during the installation, because it's a nice system. Truly is that geogrid that you're talking about, and how
Yeah.
it's pretty innocuous, but it performs well.
Yeah, we're proposing actually doing one more layer in between, just as our measure, but it's not required by the engineer.
Thank you.
Didn't we have another one in this neighborhood about 3 or 4 years ago? They used this technique? I think we did,
I can't remember.
yeah. Almost everyone. Russ,
Almost everyone, but.
Mario, Mike.
In terms of protecting the resources, I guess I'm okay. The plan provided for the construction is a little vague. If you understand exactly what you're doing and you're comfortable, I guess I am. For example, the width, the length of that geogrid is not spelled out. I don't know how far you're excavating back.
I thought in one of the notes it was called out 6 feet, no?
Yeah, I think not that. The number of layers of geogrid?
Every third block.
Every third block, right?
So I guess, are you going to be able to get in that distance back and not disturb the wooden retaining wall above it? on the back side?
At the back of the garden there, we're pretty comfortable that we'll be able to excavate just enough that we'll be able to do that in sections.
It's a good system if it's done right. It works well.
Right, and that was one of our,
There's,
But it has to be done.
I mean, anything that comes to me with a plan of 1 inch is equal to 32 inches. It doesn't actually feel like a construction document. No other questions?
Okay.
I'll do it again. Motion to close and take it under advisement.
Any questions from the audience? All in favor of the motion on the table, which is to close this hearing and take it under advisement, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, so moved.
Thank you, John.
Woods Hole Yacht Club, 58 Barneck Road, Woods Hole, for permission to conduct maintenance and in-kind replacement of the wooden skiff ramp, one out-haul piling, handrail on the easternmost pier, repair surface cracks, replace telecom conduit, and the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping. Jen? David, good evening.
Good evening, thank you, Madam Chair. For the record, David Martin here on behalf of the Yacht Club.
Also with me tonight is Chris Clark, the contractor who is performing the site. Follow through on the introduction. The work proposed is to replace first the skip ramp. You'll see that located between the two piers. It's called out in bold. That would be removed and replaced in the same location, the same number of piles, and the same dimensions. That work would be conducted on a crane placed in the rail parking area. The outhaul piling, if you look from the skip ramp seaward, called out with a gold print, existing piling to be replaced. That piling would be removed and replaced in kind. That work would take place from a barge, crane mounted on a barge. Handrail on the easternmost pier is deteriorated. That would be flush cut. Concrete would be cored and new sockets would be epoxy welded in place. Surface cracks would be repaired by hand. Between the building and the street, you'll see in bold print again a new telecom conduit out to the telephone pole. That's it, ordinary repairs and maintenance.
Okay, Jen?
No questions, just one comment. David, can you please advise your client that we prefer they stop storing the boats on the bank to the east on federal land?
Yes,
Thank
well,
you.
Courtney?
No question.
Tomas?
You took the wind out of my sail. I'm always delighted to go into Woods Hole because it's different than East Falmouth, and I say that in the greatest way. East Falmouth is the farming, and Woods Hole is the nautical. And this is such a active spot, and I'm glad this is being maintained. I have no problem with this, but I just had to say how it just functions. You know, it's a very active, interactive place. It's just, I've never ceased to see how it comes and goes and just functions. And it's a postage stamp, you know, and it just does. So, no other questions.
No questions?
Mario?
Yeah, I just note the DMF is recommending you stay away from ACQ.
we did investigate alternatives. The most available alternative would have been plastic, but because it doesn't have the structural qualities of wood, we would have needed to redesign the ramp. And in order to do that, the ramp would have become taller, and in order to get the depth of water necessary, the ramp would in turn become longer. So, based on that consequence, we'd like to
You have a substitute for something that doesn't have copper?
It's the best substitute we can find that's readily available.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I understand what they're suggesting, but without identifying a solution, it's a little difficult to know which direction to go.
No questions.
Mike?
It's nice to see someone trying to preserve what they have and not make it bigger. So, nice little project.
Thank you.
No other questions?
Motion to close and take it under advisement.
Second.
Motion in 2 seconds. Any questions from the audience? Motion and second on the table to close this hearing and take it under advisement. Isn't it nice when all the plans are complete and we can close? All in favor of the motion on the table, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, so moved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
That's a long last, Madam Chair. We're getting them well.
Well, I don't know. These came in before my comments last week, so.
But by and large, I think in the last
Yeah.
10 years, the quality of the applications has improved markedly.
Except for those, that period with 60 full moon days. Okay, continued request for hearings under a notice of intent. David and Martha Casillas et al., 0 Ferry Road is continued to July 16th. And Robert and Elizabeth Road Tondi, 92 Edgewater Drive East, East Falmouth, for permission to extend the existing ramp and timber pier with a 4-foot by 16-foot pier section, along with installation of through-flow decking over the salt marsh, handrails, 2 12-inch diameter piles, docking for 2 mooring fields, and the associated excavating and landscaping. Do we have a quorum for this? And here we are. Good evening, Mike.
Good evening, Madam Chairman.
Yes, you are, President, you are.
This was about the piling?
Yeah, it was 2 simple things.
Okay.
For the record, my name is Michael Borselli, Falmouth Engineering, and I represent the applicant. We had our initial public hearing about this dock extension, and then there was a suggestion that we took from Commissioner Powers where we're going to shift the tile pilings out to be in line with the new pier extension. The only other thing we did was we showed on the plan proposed seasonal water and oil services that were previously approved.
Oh, but just weren't on the plan.
Yeah, they were on the plan that you approved for the house renovations at
Right.
the time, because he built a little ramp at the end to get better access, and that was approved too.
Right.
So we didn't show them because they had already approved, but we added them just so that both plans,
Are consistent, right.
and that was it.
Okay, that's good. Any questions?
No question?
Who would like to make a motion?
Make a motion to close and take it under advisement.
Second.
Okay, motion is second to close the hearing and take it under advisement. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, unanimous, so moved. Thank you. Request to amend the existing order of conditions. Jewett Realty Trust, 69 Barneck Road, Woods Hole. Request to amend the existing order of conditions, DEP number 253981, to eliminate previously approved additions on the sides of the house, construct a new addition on the street side of the house, the elimination of the approved walkway to maintain the existing walkway, and the associated, and then it goes blank. The associated, anything that might have to take place to do this work.
Correct.
Questions? No. Mike,
I think our cut pace went.
good evening. That's all right. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Please,
You three.
3?
Yeah.
It really just,
Previously, the Conservation Commission
Has seen
issued
this.
an order of conditions that had an addition here, a small addition here, and a small addition here, plus we moved the sidewalk. When they finally went to apply for a building permit, it turns out the cost was too high. So we have in the building code, you cannot exceed 50% of the market value of the structure for any additions. So they've taken all of the other additions off, and they're just doing a simple addition in the front. So I believe this is a suitable request to amend. Are there any specific questions I can answer?
Anybody have a question?
Like to
Anybody have a motion?
motion to close and take it under advisement.
Second.
All in favor of the motion on the table, which is to close the hearing and take it under advisement, say aye.
aye.
All opposed, unanimous, so moved. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
That may be a record.
I forgot to say, we left the mitigation plans the same, even though
That was very nice of you, Mike.
Okay, good.
we only did it.
At your suggestion?
I wasn't
We won't go there,
thinking
Mike.
of you, I was thinking
That's
of
my
you.
staff suggestion.
Request for permit extension, Sea Scouts Partner LLC, care of Gwynn Clark, 350 Quaker Road, North Falmouth, for permission to conduct beach maintenance, including cleaning and grading on the beach.
Yes, Madam Chairman, you issued this order for beach maintenance many years ago, actually in 2007, but due to the Permit Extension Act, it's due to expire this year.
Oh,
Yeah.
2007, 2014, 7 years. They got 7 years on the
Yes,
permit.
they had a 3-year permit, the Permit Extension Act extended it 4 years to the life of the permit. It's the same work. There aren't any new rare species in the area. It's the same conditions.
So basically, they're maintaining, doing the same work they have.
Maintaining Old Silver Beach. So staff would recommend an extension.
Okay?
Motion to grant the extension.
Second?
All in favor of the motion on the table, which is to grant the extension to Sea Scout Partners, say aye.
1-year extension.
All opposed? Unanimous, so moved. Why are you here? Okay,
Okay, let's go out and ask it first.
Actually, they're supposed to be here too, I don't know that. They're there right now.
do you think they're coming? Oh, they're here? When is that? I don't remember.
It's,
We'll do that one first then. Okay, I'll do it first.
354 Acapasket Road, William E. Labarus and Janice M.
Wellens.
Wellens.
Wellens, not as it looks.
All right, no E at the end?
No, we have to go.
All right.
This one is,
Jen?
Yes, Madam Chairman, let me get my bearings.
This was pretty straightforward, wasn't it?
raise and rebuild on a,
Yeah.
Acapulco Road.
And they pulled it back?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Raise and rebuild, pull back. Oh, well, you're all on. Well, no, that's not true, Courtney. You are on this one. Russ, Betsy, Tom, and Mike. Simple
I did.
raise and rebuild.
Yeah. Yep, pulled it back.
We did find the, old
Septic.
license, chapter 91 with the 10-foot wide buffer. That is not there right now. The board needs to determine whether or not,
Oh, that's what
to include that in the permit. Remember, we had the old chapter 91 permit. The old order of conditions to license
Right.
riprap and the dock was never built, the riprap was licensed, that requirement was for a 10-foot wide buffer,
And that was used for the,
it appears to be, yes.
I think we should.
No,
No, I tried to check with Dave Bill, I can't confirm that everything
Barbara, you-
Given the timing of the license, it's really up to the board. Staff will look again at the timing of the license. License was issued after the order of conditions was issued.
So
Courtney.
in the discussion, I think we should include the 10-foot buffer.
Mike?
I'm open to discussion on why, I'm not gonna,
Well, I'm going to make a comment, and that if we do require mitigation plannings, I would prefer to see the square footage determined and have more. I hate to see a row of mitigation plannings right across.
Oh, I see what you're saying, so maybe.
I would see like a little
on the
clump.
side.
On the side, I mean, wherever it's decided,
I would be in favor of that.
But
I-
Yeah,
within the
we
A
can do
zone.
that. Instead of having it right there, we can group them up, maybe, yeah.
Something more functional than just a 10-foot.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just doesn't have,
It just-
you
I
can
mean, I
actually
don't
have
think
it.
that looks very
Doesn't
natural.
look-
I don't think
yeah,
that
it
looks
doesn't
very
look
natural.
natural.
I think that the applicants should work with staff.
Yeah, that's fine.
And you said you wanted to plant some native plantings anyway.
Yeah,
Work,
do that.
work and decide where you could have a clump that would have native plantings, maybe a tree to the side, and that would provide wildlife habitat, but doesn't have, you don't look out and it look like you have a privet hedge in front.
Do we have a, Madam Chair? do we-
Yeah, I propose the 10-foot buffer as a point of discussion. I think this is a better solution.
Yeah, I
I think
think,
it would be-
you know, the whole idea of having
I think
some
that-
native plantings, it'll serve the function of picking up nutrients and excess water.
Do we have a thumbnail on the square footage?
Jen can figure out the square footage.
Okay. No, I'm just
So
saying
how
that,
that gets written into the order, I'm not sure, but
It's 10 by 100.
Yeah,
if
down
I,
there. I can do it.
But just an island somewhere in the A buffer, which is, there's a lot of A buffer.
It doesn't have that much space.
actually, I'm sorry that your comments cannot be addressed at this point in time because the hearing is closed and this is discussion on the board. You're fine to be in the audience, but this is when this side of the table has to talk, and any input could jeopardize some things. Realizing that a functional square footage, I think, is what the board is looking for. Something, that's my impression,
Right.
so that can be, with
At-
staff's
at-
help.
at staff's
Staff will go out there,
discretion.
We'll figure something out, we'll add a few.
Okay. A motion to accept the order is discussed with the caveat of the administrator's input for the mitigation.
I think it's important that once everything is determined to everybody's satisfaction, that there be a plan
Yeah,
Yes,
submitted that becomes part of the record. And that's
absolutely.
what gets filed with the county and so on.
Yeah.
excuse me.
Okay, we
Yes.
have a motion on the table. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion and a second on the table to,
Issue the order is discussed.
to issue the order as discussed. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, unanimous, so moved. Thank you. 7 Swing Lane. Can you give us the quorum?
Yes. I can wrap that up, get from somewhere.
Yeah, she wanted to plant native plants anyway. At least that's what Barbara said that she said.
One of those squirrel situations up there. Swing Lane. Mike, Russ. Mike, Russ, Betsy, Tom, Courtney. Raise and rebuild with the
Pool in
addition
front.
of the pool, the patio with, well, kind of grass patio, the constructed pavers and space throughout the lawn area. Native plantings, I think the biggest issue the board had with this, 2 issues. One, the little wall that they wanted to do around the pool, which has been eliminated, it's gonna be like a soft grading now on the lawn. And 2, the breakaway panels on the proposed structure. The board all knows how the staff feels about breakaway panels, so I don't have to repeat myself.
Right. Well, for the
Well aware
record,
of
for the
staff's
record,
Position on that. For the record, the staff does not believe,
I,
cannot recommend the use of breakaway panels in a block zone.
and for the record, I'll say that from an engineering point of view, I think breakaway panels probably function fine if there's nothing inside to impede them. However, everyone I know who has enclosed space manages to fill it. And so I can't support breakaway panels either. Court,
I make a motion to approve the order with the exception of breakaway panels.
I think you have to make a positive.
Make a positive.
Make a positive, and then, because you can't incorporate partial of that, right?
Well, no, the board has done that before. We've approved the project with a special condition that you don't allow them.
That's the way.
Don't allow
Okay.
the
All right.
breakaway panels.
So what are we voting on? One more time before we,
You were vote, well,
you're,
the motion here.
so the motion is to approve it without the breakaway panels.
But it has not been seconded.
But before we, oh yeah, that hasn't been seconded.
No,
That may,
it hasn't.
that may get us away from a quandary. I can't second it. So are there any other motions?
Motion to accept the plan as proposed.
Second.
Are you with us?
I'm with you.
Okay, there's a motion and a second on the table to accept the plan as proposed. What?
I couldn't say.
I'm not supposed to make motions or seconds.
Oh, you got it.
All in favor of the plan as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Okay? Let the records show that Tom and Russ and Mike said aye. All opposed? Opposed. Courtney and Betsy,
Okay.
3-2. Okay, 441 Elm Road. Oh, 441 Elm Road, is this the,
It's,
this is the,
Yeah, 1 second, Madam Chairman. I'll plan.
this is the Jack and the Beanstalk mitigation plants?
I'm gonna say,
This is the one you're talking about,
Yeah.
which is probably a good idea.
yeah, when they,
Okay.
when Marie, they had,
Seven
Right.
plan
Yep.
approved as
Excuse me,
is.
did they submit a revised planting plan?
Yes, they did.
Is
I
it,
met with Maria twice. They're basically going to almost remove, they're gonna remove the bogger's Maria. I'm never gonna let you live that way.
Mark was very gracious about
I know. We're gonna remove that, and I think, after talking with her, we're just gonna, it was originally supposed to be viburnum, so that's what they're gonna use. They're gonna move those and put them up along the side. She is gonna go in there, remove that little perennial garden, leave the clethora that's pondward of the boggerus, remove the honeysuckle, and she did provide a plan that gives more of a framing along the pond with 3 or 4 tupelo trees, some clethora, some lower material.
Sounds
So
like it'll be lovely.
It's gonna be
It's a
a lot
beautiful
better
spot.
than it looks right now.
It's a beautiful spot, it could be
It's a beautiful
landscaped
spot.
Had
perfectly.
actually
it. They deserve some kind
proposed-
of a water view, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah, absolutely.
They
We'll put that
absolutely
planting
will.
together,
Um,
you know.
She had proposed just a written methodology. I did make them propose more of a formalized landscaping plan, so that was done.
Good,
And staff is happy with the concept, so.
okay. Let's hope we're all happy with the result.
I'll move to accept the order as discussed.
second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, unanimous, so moved. 267 Clinton Avenue.
Guys, want to tell?
Oh,
The, yes.
I do want to say one thing, Madam Chairman. This was the beach nourishment where they're either going over the dune or asking the town access by moving the
Jersey barrier.
Jersey
Jersey
barrier.
barrier. I would respectfully request that if there's another methodology involving possibly building a sand ramp up and over the Jersey barrier, that you give the staff permission to okay that.
Yes,
if and
we
when
do.
that happens. Thank
Yes.
you.
Absolutely.
I would prefer to see the access through the town. I
Yeah.
don't know what the outcome of the Board of Selectmen's meeting was the other day. Did you stay tuned
was
for
it
that?
our meeting?
Yes.
No, I didn't stay tuned for that. I closed it after 45 minutes of the Boy Scout.
Okay, I will,
He didn't get it.
I don't.
He did not get it. He has to
I
come back.
didn't hear that the town, that the Board of Selectmen is not going to allow it, but I will double check with that, and if the board, as I said, could give, could allow me to say, yes, you can sand ramp up and over it, I would prefer that.
Yeah,
Moving
that makes a
area
lot more
around.
sense.
Okay, thank you.
Motion to accept the order as discussed with the caveat, the administrator has the right to issue the sand ramp.
Second.
The administrator has the right to use common sense out in the
Thank you.
field to solve problems.
Yes.
Yep, exactly.
So we have a motion and a second?
Yeah.
All in favor of the motion on the table, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, so moved.
Outstanding.
Actually, I think that was, it may not have been your quickest meeting,
No,
but with the amount of material you had.
but that was a lot of hearings that we
That
went
was a
through.
lot of hearings, that had to have been your quickest hearing with the amount
With
of.
all that,
I had visions
Amount
of
of projects you had.
Do we need to have a motion to adjourn?
we do.
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, we had a second and then a motion. There's a second and a motion to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, so moved. And for Susan, the second was